Well, good evening, everybody. Turn that volume down there. Last day before vacation at work seems to be the longest day, doesn't it? That and the getting the garage done. Haven't got any work done since the weekend on that. But had a good time out at AdTran today, talking to them about weather safety. Gave a nice briefing on that. And before you know it, it's going to be our secondary severe weather season coming up here, probably late October. Sometimes it varies month to month. Season to season, I should say. Sometimes it's fairly earlier in the middle of October. We've got a La Nina potentially coming up. That means more active weather, especially as we get late December and on into the early spring months and late winter. So we will be looking at that down the road. But right now, going to take vacation tomorrow, headed down to Florida. Going to do some offshore fishing with my boys. So looking forward to that. It's about time. The lighting in here just looks different tonight. I'm not sure what it is. Oh well, we'll go with it. Doesn't look too bad. No questions yet. Hello, Rayanne. But anyway, we'll get into your forecast. There's not a whole lot to discuss as far as what's going on. We know outside it's a little cloudy out there tonight, a little hazy, and the humidity's a little bit higher. It's still in the 70s tonight, so it's very much late summer, September kind of weather. We've got a front coming in this weekend, but it doesn't look near as exciting as a few of the other fronts we've had so far this year. And I will tell you, fall is going to start Monday, and it'll be pretty much normal weather, about 85 degrees. Decatur looks good tonight. Temperature there about 76, 78 degrees. This is what we've been tracking the last few days as we take a look at the satellite. You can see the showers and a few thunderstorms. Had some severe thunderstorm warnings actually in Middle Tennessee. I didn't even check to see if there were actually any reports of severe weather. You know, none was really in the forecast. So again, those were probably what we would consider pulse-type thunderstorms. And these storms would pop up, and within 5 minutes they were done. Skyline, Amber, you're not too late to the party. I kind of started late tonight. I don't see a whole lot going on. There will be a few isolated showers and storms this weekend, and we'll talk about that here in a second because those are going to fire up along a frontal boundary that's going to behave a little bit more like a wedge or a backdoor cold front. We call it cold air damming, and this time of year it's never cold. That's just the terminology of it. One thing I'm seeing on the water vapor, that swirl of low pressure that was off the coast of the Carolinas yesterday is kind of sneaking onshore up towards Washington, D.C., the Delmarva area. And it's going to fill in. And once that does so, it's going to lose its influence over bringing us storms and showers. But I still think we see that tomorrow. Weekend forecast, 92 Saturday. Sunday, I'll go 89. Saturday, a few isolated thunderstorms, but nothing to cancel any plans over. And some of you won't see any rain at all for the next week. That's just kind of how random it's going to be. Here is Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. We're going to have temperatures, if we're lucky, the mid-60s. The way it's looking now with the cloud cover we have, we may not get into the 60s for a few more hours, at least in the larger cities. As we go through the late morning, early afternoon hours, hints of a few isolated showers and storms, but the model's kind of backing off. It's been teasing us. You see the little speckles there. That red shows up for like 10 minutes, and that's it. So we're going to have these pulse-type thunderstorms again tomorrow, potentially around here. Swimming pool, yeah, the pool's not going to get a whole lot warmer. We're kind of past that. It's the ground temperature starting to cool off. The sun sets earlier, and that has a big impact on the ground temperatures and the overall water temperatures. And the heat capacity of water, it makes it harder to get it warmed back up once it starts to cool down. Whereas the land, the heat capacity of that is a totally different story. It can warm up quick. But again, large bodies of water, even a swimming pool, once it starts to cool off, it's really hard to go the other direction and warm it back up. Unless you got a pool heater. Those can be costly. I had a pool heater at my last house. It was gas, and we would swim at Christmas, but it was like $70 a day to keep that thing heated at like 93 degrees. So we only did it on special occasions. Instead of going on vacation for Christmas, if we were out of town, we'd crank up the heat for about 3 days, and that was pretty much the cost of a hotel room for 3 days. And the other thing is, if you have a pool heater, what will happen is the water, especially if you're running it in the wintertime, the water actually evaporates because there's steam coming off of the swimming pool in the morning. So you're having to replenish the water too because of that. After we got off topic here, let's get back into 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. Not much going on about like tonight. Mowing forecast looks good. The cooler weather usually doesn't come and stay until the end of October. Usually when the leaves are all changed. That's around Halloween. So again, we got 40 some days maybe, something like that. Let's see, 31, yeah, about 40, 45, just quick math. Mowing forecast is good. You may need a mask because of all the dust out there. There's lots of dust. There's lots of ragweed. We got grass pollen. Excuse me as I choke up myself there. Grass pollen's out there too. And our rain chances, they're there, but they're really, really, really low. So 20% tomorrow, maybe 20% Saturday. And that's about it, really. So here's your 10-day forecast. I think that's the next one coming up. So, sorry, May. As we take a look at the next 10 days, it doesn't look a whole lot different. But as we get into Monday, which is the first official day of fall, we start to get the influence of that cooler weather, more of an east wind. And I do think our rain chances are going to start to pick up at some point a week from this Friday on into next weekend. So we'll watch that. The weather pattern looks a little more active. There may be some development in the Gulf, I would say, in about 10 days. That stuff's showing up. So after my trip, my fishing trip out in the Gulf, I think we're safe to have a tropical system down there. There's nothing like planning a fishing trip in the Gulf for the middle of September, the peak of hurricane season. It has been extremely quiet, but we'll likely have a named storm in the Atlantic. Doubtful it's going to threaten the U.S. mainland the way it looks now. Yeah, again, you got to get a pool heater if you want to continue to swim late September and on into October. And I would recommend a natural gas heater. Propane, man, you're going to run through propane like crazy. And sometimes the heat in the pool just doesn't keep up with it, especially if you got a large pool. It all depends on that. But again, always ask your pool expert. I've just been a pool owner. Not anymore, though. Well, you guys take care. I will be back next week. Yeah, well, we're not worried about hurricanes yet, but man, I'm going down to Mexico Beach, and they got rocked in October by a Category 5 storm. I think that was 5 years ago. So it can happen, especially with a very, very warm ocean. There's lots of energy. There's lots of potential energy, we call it. So don't be surprised if the tropics just start to blow up here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's been very quiet, and there's still a lot of energy out there. So again, don't be surprised. I'll see you guys in a week, unless you're watching tonight at 10, and you should be, right? You guys take care, and I appreciate you tuning in. Oh, I'm going to leave you with this wonderful commercial break. Have a good night.